Hey everybody, Mike Lowe here, and we are jumping into episode 4, which is going to be starting actually at the Lions bye week. So just wanted to welcome everyone and say thanks for again checking out this franchise stream. Version 2. Version 1.2, getting my games mixed up, of the slider set is up on Operation Sports in the forum. I posted that last night after my week 4 pretty tight loss, actually, 31-23 to the Saints. You can see there. Did not stream this game. I did a lot of testing in this game. This is a game that I actually reset many times. What I found, when we talk about testing and sample sizes and things like this, um, I do think sample size is important, but I actually think that the more you can kind of set as a control in your testing, it can be very useful. So playing the same game, even the first half of the same game over and over, you can really start to kind of see it. And some of these I would just jump in, I would just play quarter and I'd stop, play quarter, stop, play quarter, stop, and just making little tweaks, and it definitely helps. So anyway, the details of what that actually is, what sliders were adjusted and whatnot, are up on Operation Sports, and you can see that there. And it's getting really good feedback from people, so I appreciate those who are sharing their experiences with it and everything. So let's talk about the Lions. What's the latest with the Lions? Well, as I just mentioned, we are now in the bye week here, week 5. After 4 games, we have a handful of stats and whatnot. It's the quarter mark of the season, so we can actually start to look at a few different things. So I will say this: if you have a request of something that you do want to see, let me know and I will take a look at it. Otherwise, we're just going to kind of walk through and just take a look here. So let's look at the, I posted the box score up on Operation Sports for our week 4 game. Oops, but let's go in and just take a quick look at that. But the Lions have lost 3 in a row after beating the Bears the first week. You can see this really ugly loss. So you can see, look at the different resets, right? So again, a lot of that is, again, just going through testing. And so you can see I did a ton of various testing on this particular game. Came away with a loss. So again, it wasn't a reset because like, oh, I want to win. That's not at all what I'm looking to do here. Is again, we look to balance the slider set. So offense has still been hard to come by for the Lions. 200 yards passing, 74 rushing. Total yards are 359. So I'm thinking maybe sack numbers. We got sacked 3 times. 3 times, I think, 2 or 3. So really, the total yardage was pretty close. Third down percentages, we can't see those now, but yeah. Anyway, it was. Oops. Let's look at the player stats too. It was actually a really close game. We just couldn't get key stops. When we look at Drew Brees, again, he had 337 yards, 3 touchdowns, sacked twice, and was 85%, 30 of 35, a 9.6 yards per attempt. So I mean, he again just really lights out. Running the ball, I mean, they did a good job. At the same time, I don't think they went off at all. They had Alvin Kamara had 21 carries, 87 yards for a 4.1 average, had a touchdown. I posted a couple of really nice videos in the slider thread itself of we had a really cool goal line stand on 4th and 1 that they were. The AI is pretty cutthroat this year. I mean, they're faking kicks. They're going for it on 4th and 1 with like a 2 touchdown lead. So pretty cutthroat. I don't know if that's an All-Madden thing or just a Madden 21 thing, but so anyway, they only gave the ball to Kamara this week, at least I think. Let's see. Or no, yeah, Drew Brees two little rushes there that he didn't really do anything with. They actually tried to run like QB options with him a little bit, or read options. We look at receptions here. Their tight end, Jared Cook, 2 touchdowns, 95 yards. Manuel Sanders, 7 for 72. Michael Thomas, again, kept them in check, really, if you think about how good he is. 66 yards, 6 receptions. But again, they were just very efficient. Drew Brees spread the ball around really well. They sacked us 3 times. Look at where those came from, all from the defensive line. Pass deflections, they had a lot. Again, I mean, they just tight coverage in All-Madden. So some of those were probably bad throws by me. But anyway, let's take a look at what the Lions did here. So Stafford, again, 118 rating, probably his best game of the year. 222 yards, 3 touchdowns, was sacked 3 times, 69%. So he played well. I mean, really, the key with this game is they just had the ball all the time, and they always were scoring on us. It's really tough. DeAndre Swift, continues to really be our best running back so far. 16 carries, 52 yards, 2 broken tackles. Oh, by the way, Saints broken tackles. Tackles are at 54 in the slider set. Still 4 broken tackles there. So let's see. Receiving. Galladay still had a big day, even though it's kind of quiet in regards to receptions for him. 3 catches, 80 yards, and 1 touchdown. Marvin Jones finally gets his first and second touchdown of the year. 6 catches, 48 yards. So again, a little bit more of a controlled look here. You can see very, really conservative when we consider the averages here, minus Galladay. And that's just kind of how it's been going this year. So we did have a 49-yard catch by Galladay. Of course, that brought his average up there. And as I mentioned, we had the 2 sacks, both coming from our defensive ends. By the way, injured this week. Where'd he go? Trey Flowers got injured, so he is out for the next few weeks. I think he's going to miss like 3 or 4 games. So we don't have a lot of depth at defensive end. So when we talk about trying to stop the pass, even stopping the rush, it's not going to get any easier for us. Defended passes here, we had 2. It's weird it's only showing 1 now, but and again, these stats never track. I don't know why Madden keeps doing that to us, but so anyway, that's just kind of a look at how things were going for the Week 4 game. Again, a 31-23 loss. If we look at some team stats, if you're curious, something in my eye. We look at offense. Lions technically are the lowest offensive yardage gaining team in the league right now. Not by a lot, but again, trending in the right direction. We've had a couple games that just are. It's really kind of a byproduct of our bad defense. If we're not extending drives ourselves, our defense is being stuck on the field, and so we're just not having the ball very often. Passing yards, we're dead last in the league in passing, 3rd to last in rushing, and points like 5th or 6th or so it looks like. But again, still very, very early. First downs, again, we're not last. Defense is probably faring a little bit better. We're the 2nd worst defense in the league. We are like the 5th worst pass defense, and we're the 3rd worst rush defense. So those have gotten better. Again, I like to look at these, especially after Week 4, especially before you have a bye, because we're going to start to see my defensive numbers, like quote unquote, increase, and our offensive numbers decrease because we don't have a ton of like average stats here. These are cumulative stats, right? So they're adding to it each week. When you have a bye week, of course, you're not accumulating offense and you're not accumulating defense yards against. So we look at sacks. Again, you can see it's nice to see that we're not at the top of the league or anything like that. So just the 1 interception, but again, there are a handful of other teams with only 1, even some with 0. Conversions, say the kind of the average. They always say in Madden's around like 40% or so from the bottom. We're just a tick below that. Penalties, it's getting there. It's getting better. It's still last, but again, like we're in the ballpark, right? So that's just kind of a Madden legacy issue, unfortunately. This screen doesn't work right because things aren't being tallied properly. So yeah, anyway, just again, some look there at some team stats. I think one of the really cool things is when we look at Matthew Stafford, and to me, like when you just start to like kind of look at like the player, the player level of slider set and whatnot, I think you can really start to see like some of the guts of what's going on. So of course, this is me playing in 4 games, right? A QB rating of 91. And what's neat is when we look at his 2018 season, of course, he only played about half the year last year because he got hurt. But when we look at his 2018 season, look how similar these are. So 89, basically 90 to 91, so we're a 1-point difference there. If we look at, he's been, yeah, I mean, even if you times that by 4, the sack numbers would be exactly the same. Completion percentage, 1 point off. Yards per attempt, a slight tick increase there, very, very minuscule. And then when you look at his stats last year, again, he was really red hot in the games that he did play in last year for the Lions. It's potentially his best year, yeah. It's the only year he finished with a QB rating over 100. So even the year that he won MVP, which was this year, 97. So 97 QB rating. But I think that was really cool to see, again, how this slider set is really allowing for quite realistic gameplay. Even if it is frustrating, even if we are 1-3, even if our offense has struggled, I'm not putting up video game numbers, and I think that's a really, really important thing. So I don't think there's anything else we really need to look at. I mentioned we have an injury here, unfortunately, to Trey Flowers, so he'll miss 3 games after the bye week here. That's going to be a tough thing. All these other ones are just COVID injuries, basically, guys who are sitting out the year. Well, let's advance, and then we can actually look at some scouting, because, again, we did do a little bit more of that. Okay, so the Jaguars are 2-2-1. The infamous Madden ties. Let's see how many ties we have in the NFL. Hopefully it's just that one. Oh no, there's been at least 2 games with ties. It's such a weird thing. It's like they have something with like the NHL series or something where they just love having ties. But the Jaguars are 2-2-1. They've played all 5 weeks. We'll talk about them in a little bit. Let's just see what's going on around the league here. I always recommend checking draft stories for little clues, right? Ron Capps is a receiver. We looked at him in a previous stream. Ron Capps doesn't take a single play off. They're loving its consistency. Okay, that's good, because he did scout out pretty well. Let's see. I want to check out who got player of the week here. Matt Ryan's having a good year. He's won that a couple times now. Falcons must have had a big game. Offense and defensive player of the week for the NFC. Sam Darnold, the AFC. Is it Mike Hilton, I think? With the Steelers there. 416 yards for Darnold. Alright, so let's take a look at scouting. So here are the players that we have scouted, right? So we just kind of go through positions. Some of these are just going to be really quick recaps. I've started going a lot heavier at receiver. Here's that Ron Capps guy, by the way, they're talking about. So he's projected as an early first. He definitely looks like he's going to be a pretty darn good player out of UCLA there. So really good hands player. Who can also apparently run deep routes. So some of these guys we already went through and scouted. Some of these guys that we were scouting, again, had some pretty bad drops in their rating. But again, that's kind of where we left off last time, was really scouting pretty heavily at receiver. As we start to go into a little bit more depth with, deeper into the rounds, not just looking at guys who are first rounders only. You're not going to have a chance to scout every single person. So you have to really think about the strategy that you want to do. And I know people are like, well, you should just, let's just scout all the first rounders. We've got to make sure we hit on a first round pick. That will work. That's a good strategy. But you also need to think about, you're only going to pick one of those 32 guys. So you're essentially wasting 31 players worth of scouting by scouting the entire first round. Instead, you could start going deeper, looking at guys in the 4th, 5th, rounds like that, where you might be able to pull a diamond or 2 out. That would help your team. So anyway, just a little food for thought. No new linemen were scouted this time around. Same defense. I think that's really all we got into this last in our bye week was just the we just did those receivers. So yeah, it's all the same. So we're back to square one with doing some additional scouting. So let's just see what we come up with, and probably finish off a little bit with receiver. I have not done Eddie Cardona because he's a 5'9" deep threat. I just don't really think that's a fit. Maybe later we'll scout. I'm not sure I really want a deep threat who is 5'9". If he was a slot receiver or something, that would not bother me. But or even a route runner. But kind of a strange thing. So we left off on Devin Whitaker, who is a physical receiver, 6'5", 230. This guy's almost like a Devin Funches. Basically a tight end playing receiver, a little leaner. see what he comes back as. So again, good thing we spent that 5 points, because he's looking to be a bit of a drop there. So that takes care of the second round. So again, we got some pretty good depth. And again, I'm looking at positions that I know, even though we have a B+ rating, we've re-signed Kenny Galladay. After that, the cupboard's pretty bare. We have a 33-year-old slot receiver in Amendola. Marvin Jones is a free agent. I do think we'll probably sign a free agent wide receiver, but we really need to start getting someone in that mix. So wide receiver is definitely in the mix for an early pick here. Skipped over quarterback and running back because I would like to look at quarterbacks, but probably not yet. Tight end, again, we're going to be okay at tight end with Hawkinson right now. So there's really nothing here in the second round for left tackle. What about right tackle? We got one guy, Chris Kidd, who would be a fit. This would be a huge need, so I truly hope this guy actually scouts out really nice. He's 24. I'm not thrilled about that, but he's like the only tackle here. Oh, there's some third round guys. How old are these guys? 22. Is that, you got to figure that's a whole extra year of development that this player gets. So I'm actually going to avoid him being a 24-year-old for now, and we're going to stick to the second round. So let's see if there's anything else. There's not a whole lot. So, boy, this is a really power. So we're not going to be needing power linemen. And this is where I wish Madden Scouting was a little bit better, a little bit more robust than that. Like, okay, he's a power guy, that's fine. But, like, so I have no idea how he would fit into an agile offense, or I have no idea how he would be in a pass protecting offense. That particular scheme, like, you're completely blind to it. That's kind of a weird thing. So I really hope with the updates we either see later with the PlayStation 5, which, by the way, I was lucky enough to get one pre-ordered last night. It took me a long time. I was one of the Best Buy refreshers over and over and over. Just laying in bed, refresh, and then it went through. So, and they haven't canceled it yet, so that's exciting. But anyway, when we get into Madden for PlayStation 5, that's right around when the updates are supposed to be coming through for franchise. That'd be really cool to see. If not, maybe next year. But famous words, I guess. But you know, again, like these power linemen, I have no problem with power linemen usually, but with DeAndre Swift being our running back, we're really going to be building around agile linemen. So looks like lineman is going to be, and it's okay. You don't need to force it. It's just, it looks like offensive line is going to be an area we address in free agency. I guess we probably should just look at Chris Kidd, because, I mean, if he's a stud at 24, who cares? He's still great. Oof. We're going to stop right there. It's not looking very good. Oof, man. It's going to be a tough year. But do we want to switch to offense, or do we want to keep going into, like, the third round? I'm sorry, do we want to move on to defense or stick with offense and dig into the third round? Oh. Kyle Givens, I know I want to scout, although he's an early. I'm not scouting earlies yet until I know we're going to be kind of in the mix for an early pick. So we could... Lyle Babineau. I'd like to take a look at him. Even though we don't have a speed rush system, I still like getting guys like this because they come in on third downs. They're very, very productive players. Okay, so he comes back as a late second. So again, this could be maybe one of the first guys we look at as maybe this is our third round pick. I'd be thrilled to get a guy, a really nice speed rusher. He's kind of a boxy guy, 6'1", 269. But I'd be okay with that. Defensive tackle is definitely a spot I want to upgrade, but there's nobody here just yet else that I'm really looking to scout. It's not really going to be a scheme fit, but at the same time, I can always use power rushers up the middle too. Let's see what he comes out as. Okay, so there's another guy. So we have a couple defensive linemen who could be good fits for either a late second, which is not looking like we're going to have, but could fall into the third round. That would be very nice. I'm going to skip linebackers for now just because we have, these are my, what do you want to call it, little bonus points I get, and it just kind of makes it weird to divide those out. But I will come back to those. If we can just take a look and see if there's anything I would want to look at. I mean, yeah, there's some guys. Tony Henson is early, so we're waiting. This guy could be a good defensive lineman. speed rush. So these guys would be pretty decent ends. And we'll get to them. We're going to stick with... So there actually are some linebackers I do want to look at. We'll probably prioritize that next week or a little bit later. Corner, I think I'm going to wait on a little bit now. Any of safety, there's a lot of good safeties, but there's some other things I think I want to look at first. So I actually want to kind of get into these like third round linemen. So what do we got left? We have 85 points. Okay, we can pretty much scout 3 more guys. Oof. All right, this is not looking like the year to be grabbing lots of linemen. So we'll at least take a look at a couple of these guys here. Dang. This is a rough one. Alright, so that's it. So, not a lot of offensive linemen in this draft, or so it seems. Let's take a look at the Jaguars. Let's see what we're up against here. So, this will be a really interesting thing to see how the sliders react. Gardner Minshew, I know there's a lot of excitement about him. He's in his second year. He's probably one of the worst starting quarterbacks in Madden 21. No offense to Gardner. Just again, looking at the overall ratings. But I think it's really important also know your opponent. So he's going to be a short accuracy guy. We're going to be playing a lot of underneath coverage, I'm thinking. At the same time, knowing he can still go over the top on us. Decent runner, can throw under pressure. But this is a guy I think we can try and really control the game with a little bit by kind of forcing him out of his comfort zone. The big asterisk, though, is our best pass rusher. The person who generates the most traffic for us is going to be out, Trey Flowers. So, of course, a big part of this, too, is going to be by putting pressure on Gardner Minshew by stopping the run. So Lamar Miller, they have 3 pretty quick backs. We look at receiver. Finally, we have a team that doesn't have like a stud receiver we have to go up against. So, let's see, route running. Decent route runners. We can actually bump and around with these guys a little bit. So, yeah, this could probably play a lot of cover 2 zone. I think that's going to probably be our game plan. I might try to actually do a little more game planning. I was letting the coach do it, kind of just letting it sim, but they do some really weird stuff. Like against the Saints, we were game planning inside run. I'm not sure that was the best approach. Although it did help because they were running the ball like crazy, so and we were able to contain it a little bit. So they have some really good interior linemen. Tackles are not great. The only defensive lineman, again, Josh Allen, who looks to be a threat. Guys aren't bad. Cornerbacks can definitely be taken advantage of, potentially. Especially if they try and press Galladay, which it looks like Henderson will probably be on him. So their defense is very beatable. But you have to keep in mind, there's a reason why this streaming series is called Same Old Lions. I mean, this is the game we'll lose by like 21 points or something. Oh, let's see. Yeah, there's really nothing. So they're going to move Hayden. Interesting. So they're going to move Hayden into the slot. So he'll be on Amendola most of the time, which means he'll go. So this is really who Galladay is going to be matched up against. Interesting. So really, we should be able to look at both of these receivers. I mean, even all three of these guys, Damian and Amendola, should be getting open too. So I think I know what I want to do on defense. Not sure what I want to do. And I mentioned before, but I recommend training on. I want to do cover 2 for pass defense. He wants to do medium pass curl flats. But I recommend stimming your training because it keeps your progression in line with your the AI teams. If you're looking for a little bit more of a realistic experience, of course you can do it however you want. So they run quarters 4-3. Yeah, I'll let the coach do it. I know I would like to use cover 2 to kind of keep that underneath stuff in check. So I'll let coach do the offense this week. I'm taking over the defense. No player upgrades. All right, well. Let's see if there's any free agents out there. Probably not. Nope. Even if we wanted to upgrade at end, there's really not much going on there. All right, well. So I think that does it for the pregame. I think we are ready to jump in here. We're going to be doing that on I think the next episode though. So I'm not going to be able to get the whole game finished here. And I actually think what I might start doing is like breaking up these episodes into smaller pieces where one episode is like the pregame chatter and we go through just kind of what we did. And then the episode right after that would just be the straight gameplay, post-game recap, that kind of thing. That's kind of my thought with it all. So again, for those following along, that's the plan I'm thinking of. If you have feedback on that, let me know. I think that would be good. And so let's see, what else can I say? Hey, Doug, I did watch Sunday's Lions game. Watched the first half and had to leave. Surprised they lost. Yeah, you must not be a Lions fan if you're surprised they lost. just kidding there, Doug. But it was an interesting game. Was it super surprising? Not really, honestly. It was, like I said, there's a reason why this series stream is called Same Old Lions. So it makes a lot of sense if you've been a Lions fan. You'll understand it. But again, this whole franchise it's actually been really fun. I've actually really enjoyed Madden 21 so far. Finding the gameplay to be really, really good and consistent at least. It's enjoyable and it's a perfect. No, do I wish Madden by now and Madden 21 was something different than what it is? Yeah, I do tremendously. Very, very much so behind the fixed Madden franchise hashtag. But at the same time, like I understand, like stuff's just not going to change. Like I can either sit around and be pissy about it all year, or I can try to enjoy this game for what it is. So I'm choosing to do the latter. So. But anyway, with that said, like I said, I'm going to stop this stream here. Episode, I don't know if I'm going to call it 4.5 or I think maybe, yeah, because it'd be our 5th game. So yeah, I think what I'll do then is we'll do 5 and then I'll probably do I'll start calling them like pre-episodes or something. So anyway, but we're going to stream that. I might do it tonight. We'll see. I just got to get to some other life things going on here. But otherwise, yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. If you want, go ahead and subscribe. It'll ping you the next time we're up. But either way, I know a lot of people watch these archived, I guess, not live, whatever we call that. So yeah, I'm excited. If you got a PS5, let me know. I'm pretty pumped to get mine. It's hard to believe it's less than 2 months away at this point. Yeah, I'm really excited to check out like NBA 2K on it and Madden, of course. So but that's it, everybody. I'll see you next time. Again, Sliders thread is up on Operation Sports. I'm on Twitter, Mike Lowe 47. See you next time.